Yeah. I know I said I was going to leave you alone for a week, but stuff keeps happening. And most of it annoying. But I know I got this card from my doctor for like, he wants me to see him like every 3 months, just like a routine, I don't know what, routine maintenance thing or whatever he calls it. He calls it something or another. I know it says on a card, April 18th. So, um, I got my a little itinerary, my little plan, like sketched out and stuff. So I get a call yesterday telling me I have an appointment on April Fool's Day. It's a good April Fool's joke. And so I call their office and I'm like, look, man, I got a card on my refrigerator underneath a magnet that you guys wrote out that says it's the 18th. So I'm just calling to make sure that this is right. That y'all want me in there on Monday. She's like, yeah, I want you in there on Monday, April 1st. And I'm like, because I had planned, not planned on that. So I was like, I wonder if it's too late to call my case manager and get set up with Scenic View Transportation instead of taking the bus where they drop me off in the cold for 45 minutes. So I call my case manager. I get her answering machine message. I will be out of the office from the 29th until the 1st. I call on the 29th. My appointment's on the 1st. So, Proline it is. The bus that left me off in the cold for 45 minutes in the dark. Uh, so I'm going to go in there anyway because I need to talk to the guy about you see, the last time I went in there 3 months ago, I asked him about, those things are pretty expensive, but if you're in like, if you're considered disabled or whatever, you can get one of those ride around scooters for people so they can do their shopping and stuff. And I asked about that, because I had talked to my case manager when she wasn't on vacation about it, and she was like, "Well, I can help you with that, but I have to have a doctor's signature first, so you need to ask your doctor about that." So I asked my doctor about that 3 months ago. He said, "Well, those that takes a while to go through. I believe he said 6 months for that to even go through before you'd even get to scooter. So let's just wait and see how your knee procedure comes out before we do that." So, I have my knee procedure, and if you're keeping up with my story, complete disaster, Cleveland Clinic, surgery, don't know when it's going to happen, big time rehabilitation, and all this crap. So, in the meantime, I'm dependent on people who are alcoholics, have substance issues, and or emotional problems, or all of them. So, my way of not dealing with all that craziness was to hop on an electric bike, which I can no longer do. So I kind of need a scooter thing. I had to leave a prescription in the drugstore for like a week just because I didn't want to ask any people in my life to go pick it up for me. So, I have to try to impress that upon Dr. Wacky Pants on Monday. Like, look, uh, but even even if he signs off on the papers, he says it can take up to 6 months. I'm still fucked. Now, if he would have signed off on it 3 months ago, you know, I don't know if 6 months was an estimate on how long it takes for that to get processed or whatever. But I might, I don't have money. I don't, I don't have the money. So those things are expensive. Those little scooters that you see, like people riding around on, and they got baskets on and stuff. Oh, I could take that and I could get a couple little food items to add to my Meals on Wheels stuff. So and also go to get outside and get around and not have to worry about falling and hurt myself before and after I get my surgery. So he'll sign off on it probably on Monday, and I probably won't get it until summer is over. So this is definitely going to be the summer of the knee. Last summer was the summer of the meth heads and the squatters and the police and the machete. This will be the summer of the knee and the elephant above me. She's not really an elephant. I shouldn't say that. She just, Stampy and Stampy Jr., which I talked to the landlord, and the landlord's like, well, they're just supposed to be staying there for a couple of weeks. And it's like, they're just lying to him. And of course, he just plays devil's advocate whenever he's got that free money coming in from some kind of housing agency. He just plays devil's advocate with me. So I can't win, you know. If, like I just said in the last video, if the dude wants me to live with illegal activity, like, I don't know, an active meth trade with a cookhouse across the street, if he wants to live with that, because he's getting guaranteed money, he's not going to care about a little bit of noise. Or I was just thinking about the dimensions of my prison that I live in, and I think this room is 15 feet by 10 feet is where I live now. I have more space. I have another apartment, and some guy was over and he understood the situation. He's like, that's got to be fucked up, man. He's like, you're paying all that rent, and then you don't even use it for space you don't even use. I'm like, I know, but it is what it is. I mean, it gets on my nerves. So anyway, the doctor just rescheduled me without consulting me. I'm positive because, you know, I got the card that they wrote out to me still, and it says the 18th, and so I don't find out about this until Friday. So that's good. And another thing that happened is I got involved in family bullshit, which I've been trying to avoid, and I wish I could go into details with you on that, but I can't go into too much except for to say that, like, I'm going to try to do the right thing and help somebody out, but first I have to find out if they're lying to me or not. You know, I'm supposed to get the boat is supposed to get sold tomorrow, so I'm supposed to have the fun of paying that guy for not being my friend tomorrow. So I'm going to say as little as possible during that exchange, just so no more of the bad blood comes out. I mean, I've already confronted the dude about the whole situation and everything. You know, yeah, I can't. Maybe I can. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the truth is the truth, and if people don't like the fucking truth, then the hell with them. You know, if you don't like the truth, don't be an asshole. Then you don't have to fucking worry about it. You know. To quote one writer or another, it's difficult to defend yourself against too much righteousness. In other words, be a righteous motherfucker and do the right thing, and then you don't have to worry about people talking shit about you unless they're making stuff up. I don't make stuff up. Um, but yeah, um, this is all like very personal stuff, but I'll do it in a vague way. I knew somebody that was going through one of the most difficult things you could do in the world. They liked to fish. I had the boat. The boat had not been on the water yet. The dude had not made good on his promise to do the necessary, throw in the necessary couple extra bucks to get the boat on the water. Um, After I plunked down the initial 1,500, he was with me during the buy of the boat, But then I was like, we need to get this guy out of the house and do a little fishing, which he likes to do anyway. And I said, now would be a perfect time to get that boat on the water. And he's like, I ain't got no money, which I used to like kid him all the time. Like, I'm going to start calling you I ain't got no money if you keep saying that to me. I was like, that's your middle name from now on, is I ain't got no money Jones. Bobby, I ain't got no money Jones. I'm just making up a name. And because what it is I ain't got no money for you. It's like, guy likes his money. So I'm like, listen, I made him make a solemn promise. I mean, like seriously, we didn't cut our hands or anything and mingle blood, But I made him make a serious promise. I said, I don't have, it's going to take about 200 bucks or so to get this thing on the water. I don't really have the money right now, but it's important to get this dude out of the house for his mental well-being. And I was like, so, if we're not going to do this, tell me now. So before I spend the money, and then like you made the promise. Okay. Well, that boat got out on the water, but the dude that I spent the money on to get it out, I think I didn't ask him about it, but I think he was in the boat twice. I think that's about it, you know. And that is like a whole can of freaking worms. I mean, I don't know, I I should just be able to tell. In fairness, I should be able to tell the story, but it's the internet, you know. But you got somebody in one of the toughest situations imaginable, and you can do something for them, and you're supposed to be their brother, you're supposed to be their friend, you're supposed to have their back, and you won't even do something that you enjoy doing to help them out, you know. So yeah, do I have a little bit of anger about this? I got some serious anger about this. So, when that money exchanges hands tomorrow, there's going to be little said as possible because I got to hand some of it back because that's, how I got him motivated. I also found out that his negotiation tactics was like he just threw up a number and the guy jumped on it. It's, I had, the guy's got no game. He probably said something like the guy would probably sell it for $1,000 instead of starting out high and then having the guy look at it and then looking out for my interests. Why would he do that, selfish motherfucker? So yeah, I told him all this stuff before, so it's not like I'm talking behind his back. I front him out about stuff, but that sometimes that anger don't go away. I mean, that anger would be like homicidal anger if I didn't, express those things to him, and like we went back and forth about this crap, you know. So, but anyways, that just leaked in there. But the other thing that was happening is there's some other situation where I'm trying to help this person get psychological help, which they can get other kind of help from this agency that I go to. Because if you remember correctly, the agency that I go to was actually funding the housing for the meth heads. If you remember, if you're actually a follower of mine, I don't know how many of you are, but that's where I made the joke. Like, I went to the place, and this place is called Coleman. I'll just throw the name out there. Place is called Coleman Outreach. It's like a community outreach thing. It's probably government funded. And I was like, I found out that Coleman was paying to send a therapist here to sit and talk to me at the same time they were paying for a meth den above me. So I said, in other words, you guys were paying to wreck my psychological health and fix it at the same time. I told that to the guy that was in the Coleman office, and he said, well, we got to make money somehow. Got to drum up business somehow. He made a joke about it. I didn't think it was all that funny. I thought the situation was funny. Don't think he should be making light of my misery. But yeah. But I talked to other people from there that my therapist that comes to see me about that, and I was like, you got to admit that's kind of funny. And she goes, I'm not supposed to admit it, but yeah, that is kind of funny. Because they're like the source of my problems because, they're trying, it's a community outreach thing to give second chances to people or whatever. So they pay for this apartment upstairs for this loser that was probably in jail or had like drug issues or something or another. And then he's part of a process that opens a meth cookhouse across the street and makes my life a living fucking hell to where I'm like waving around a machete and shit. Meanwhile, they're actually sending the same agency is sending somebody here to talk to me to keep my head straight. So they're messing up my head and keeping my head. They're double dipping. But I remember that one time. I won't say my case worker's name. I guess I could say her first name. I don't fucking hate that. It's like being shackled. But I was joking at one time, and I was, you know, and then I stopped joking because I was like, I looked out, I seen a guy pulling up and walking in, and I'm like, and there's that motherfucker that I'm talking about right now to you, name withheld. And I said, if you weren't here, it was like the way I feel right now. It's like, cause she already had, you go to a therapist to get your emotions out or whatever. I said, be getting a baseball bat out of the closet, and but what am I gonna do? You're here, so it's not like I can say, get my back, name withheld. She's just some 25-year-old woman. But I was like, I was steaming. I was like, I knew what was developing or what was happening in the building at that point. I didn't know the severity of it yet, And she says, "Thank you for not doing that," you know. But I took the smile off her face for a minute anyway, because she seen me change, you know. She seen the Hyde and the Jekyll kind of receded a bit, and I was like, "That's that motherfucker right there walking in the house right now." And then, oh yeah, that's what I did. I said, "And this guy is a dealer. I know this guy is a dealer," And I'm yelling, not yelling, but I'm talking with my big voice, so I know he can hear me because I know the acoustics of the building, you know. And then later on, her name was Jessica, who was the main squatter from 2 months down the road. She actually opened the door and peeked around the corner and like looked to see where that voice was coming from, and looked in the window while me and my therapist was there. And I said, "Yeah, I said that. That was me." I like waved and stuff. I had the blinds open, and the windows were closed though. And yeah. So, anyways, I'm trying to get this person with these bad issues to go there, and they also got a bad living circumstance. So I was like, they could help her like with her head, and they could help her with her like living circumstances, you know. And right now it's but the thing about it is when you're dealing with people with substance issues, is like they'll be like, yeah, I want help, but really they're not ready yet. Like, I think I can tell this about my older brother had such a bad alcohol problem that was working on a car, and he had two tall boys cans, one that he was drinking out of with Budweiser, and one that he was draining brake fluid into. Guess which one he drank? And it gave him chemical pneumonia and almost killed him. And I visited him in intensive care, and he drank after that. So that wasn't his bottom. I never did ask him what his bottom was, but he's sober now. But like, if somebody hasn't reached their bottom when it comes to substances, where they're like ready, like, I've had enough of this, I can't do this anymore, it doesn't matter. So I'm like, look, I got to go into that agency on the 11th, man. I'll go with you. I'll sit with you, because they do like a cattle call type of thing where with new people, you got to go in there, and you want to get in there like when they first open and just sit, and then you tell them you need help, and you maybe fill out some paperwork or whatever, and you sit and you wait and you wait and you wait. I'm like, I got to go in there anyway. I'll go in there with you. And I'm like, I'm suspicious already, because right away they were like, I mean, this is like, would have been 2 weeks down the road, and they're like, without missing a beat, they're like, oh, I got to do this. I can't go that day, but I want to go. It's like, probably not ready to feel all that emotional pain inside him. I told him, man. I told him the truth is like, you can run, but you can't hide, man. You can run with these chemicals you're taking. You can run with these substances you're taking. But that's, you're going to be worse off in the long run by not facing up to it. And, they'll make you feel better temporarily. So it freaks me out when it does that. And it's like the other person I was talking about, other friend I was talking about, he's doing the opposite. It's like he's got like PTSD and bad anxiety, and he needs to take some kind of, even he, he needs some kind of like a benzo, but not like, to taking it properly. And you don't, it's like you got something to go through, like a surgery. They even do it, like for people that are claustrophobic like me, they'll give you a Valium before you go into your MRI. That's what my landlord was talking about. So, but yeah, I don't know. I got to find out if this person's telling me the truth or not, or it's like, and I don't need to get involved in anybody's bullshit. It's a really complicated, interesting story, but I just can't throw people's business out on the internet. I had a slip of the tongue that got me in trouble because they were like, I mean, there's people driving without licenses. There's heavy drugs. It's really nice, juicy stuff, but this stuff is real. I mean, it's not. I can't just be throwing it out there, you know. But the truth is, like, you can take your drink, you can take your drugs, you mix them together. Yeah, you can pour them over top of your head if it make it, but in the end, it gonna make you feel better for that brief time. And like the guy's name was Ignatowski on Taxi, said all drugs have this terrible side effect. What's that? They wear off, and they leave you in worse condition than you were before because they have a bad effect on your body, and you're getting older. And frankly, that's what that dude's problem was with the boat. Is you know, instead of making memories, he's sitting around smoking pot. You know, and had some nice memories on that boat. But yeah, that's the kind of keep this short. But that's the kind of, I'm getting things just don't go according to plan. I did figure out something interesting this morning. Is I think I can use that Movavi program that I got to do my audiobook in such a way that I can piece it together like seamlessly, like 5 minute stretches at a time, and you won't ever know the difference. So it's like, yeah, if that works, like I can do that. I can blow through it then. I didn't know if I could do that or how it would work. The key is to keep, I measured it out, like the distance between the microphone and my face, and you got to keep everything the same, so it sounds, it has continuity to it. It's the same volume. My voice will have different qualities in it and stuff. On different days, my voice will probably sound different and stuff, but I don't know how much that'll matter or not. But it will be a way for me, even in my frazzled state, to finish this book that I've been trying to finish, which I shouldn't even be attempting to finish. But I was thinking about how easy this would be for me if I didn't have CRPS and obnoxious sensations running through my body all the time, and I didn't have a bad knee, and I didn't have benzo withdrawal. So even though I'm taking the Valium, I'm telling people, man, it's not the same thing as the Xanax. It just eases the symptoms. You're still going through the Xanax withdrawal, and I'm gonna put a little chart since March. I'm gonna show you my March in Valium underneath here. Um, I don't know what's going on with me head wise, but I'm taking like a lot less lately here, which probably hasn't been helping things. But I just want to be off. I don't know. I don't know. I get like that. I get stubborn. I'm weird like that, and weird in many other ways as well. But yeah, I've been very stubborn about that crap lately. It's getting hot in here. It's really like 50 degrees outside. Spring is spronging around here. That's why the boat was so easy to sell, and that's why I just kind of shook my head when I heard, he told me, like, he just popped out with 1,000. It's like, how old are you? Don't you know anything about, like, negotiation? And, like, it was funny because 3 or 4 years before, I hadn't quite given up on the whole idea of, fishing with the guy and fishing with other people in the boat and stuff. So he thought I paid $1,500 for the boat. He thought I paid $1,700 for the boat. So it was spring like it was now, like 4 years ago. And he told somebody that it might have been the same guy that's buying it now for 1,000. As a matter of fact, I should ask him that if it was the same guy that made the offer. But he told him that I paid $1,700 for it, and they offered him $1,500 for it. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna try to blow it off and just like put it in the past. Um, but um, considering the money I put into it, because I had an initial $1,500, and then I had to buy oars for it just in case the motor breaks down. You can't not have oars in a boat. Um, and I had to buy like boat cushions, and you pay for all this miscellaneous stuff. It adds up. I figure I lost about um, $900 on the deal, so I got like 50% of my money back because I sold it for 1,000, but I got to cough up to 100, so I'm gonna have 900 when I put 1,800 into it. It's like, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say to the dude. I mean, I told the dude to his face, like, we're not friends. It's like, we're brothers just because we've known each other our whole lives, but we're not friends. I'd like us to be friends again and get back to that place, but I don't know if we can, you know. But yeah, so now I gotta figure out. The main thing I gotta figure out is like I may have to actually, depending upon my doctor, depending upon how things work out, I may actually have to take the boat money and blow it on a completely different form of transportation, one of them old people scooters, because I cannot be walking around. I cannot risk doing any more damage before I get to surgery, and then after I get to surgery anyway, there's going to be some rehabilitation time. I'm going to make sure that I take my sock off and insist upon it though, and show the doctor my ugly ass left foot and point out the muscle wasting in my left leg, and I'm going to go, you know, because those scooter things, they cost between like 25 and $3,000. Yeah, not 25, but 2,500 and $3,000. So, um, but in the meantime, what am I gonna do? In the meantime, I don't have any way to get around except for a bunch of untrustworthy people, and that cause me stress or get in my pocket one way or another. One way or another, they're getting in my pocket. You know, getting that money out. They're not. They don't. It's like it's just so transparent and sickening to someone like me. It's like I was talking to uh, the boat guy. What's called the boat guy? I was talking to the boat guy about something, and then he was like, "Well, blah blah," semi excuse, hem haul, hem haul. And I'm like, "Well, it cost me $20 for a cab, so there's a 20 in it for you if you do it." The answer is suddenly yes. If you give me this ride. And it's like, man, motherfucker. That's what it's all about, you know. And he can only be partially blamed for, you know, being like that because of the way he grew up and stuff. But, man, grow out of it. I mean, I've been poor, but, he grew up like survival poor, like not eating poor, you know. Um, I only went through like a few periods in my life where it was where I wasn't getting 3 meals a day. And, you know, during my formative years when I was growing up, my dad had a good job, and kept, we had a full refrigerator. He used to actually come over to our house and open up the refrigerator and just look at it, and you could hear the bells and the lights and whistles going off in his head, like, at the idea of like having access to that much food. Like I'm talking about when he was 9 or 10 years old. But yeah, people don't like the truth, because it makes them look bad. And if you don't like the truth because it makes you look bad, be a better person. There's some things I could tell you about myself on here about the certain behaviors I fell into that would make me look bad, but I don't know what purpose they would serve. I've already mentioned some of them, but also it's kind of unseemly, I think. I just find it unseemly. You might be like, well, you're fronting out all these other people's business, but no, this is of a different nature, you know. Um, I don't know. Maybe these half doses of Valium not a good idea. I don't know that either. I mean, I did get something accomplished this morning though. Got a couple of parts done. A couple of segments done anyway, and I managed to figure out I could use this program to piece them together on a book. Did the garbage, and now I have to. I called my cousin in Florida, who is of course has a substance problem. He's an admitted alcoholic. Um, I couldn't get him though. It's his day off. I don't know. Try to call him a little bit later on, maybe. And yeah, I'm gonna lift weights. Now we're at the half an hour mark. Now that I've vented a little bit, you know. I don't know. It's kind of a rough balance because it's important to be honest with people, but sometimes you're in situations where honesty is not the best policy. Like if I'm kind of stuck here in this situation. It's like I have to ride this out as far as like my living here in this building. So, it's not that I haven't fronted my landlord out about various things. I mentioned the fact that, hey man, you're letting your dad pick through junky garbage. I had to tell him to put gloves on. I've said this to him a couple of times. I had to tell him to put gloves on when we were picking up the garbage in the hallway, just in case he would get a needle. This is your dad. So it's not like I haven't gotten in his face about stuff before. Um, but he was like, "Oh, my dad said it wasn't that bad." Whatever, man. Go ahead and let your dad pick through junky garbage with bare hands, because that's what he was gonna do. He just some old dude. You don't know have a full grasp of what was going on up there. You know, uh, they're probably smoking the meth, and maybe there was no needles in there, but you can spike meth, and people do that with it. Who knows? You just don't. Why would you pick through garbage barehanded anyway? I mean, I don't know. I've done it before, being stupid when I was cleaning up garbage, but not junky garbage. We get hepatitis, AIDS, God knows what else. So like, yeah, like what the point of that was is like honesty is not always the best policy. Like I am stuck here. I have to deal with this landlord that's so I have to kind of like be politic with him, instead of saying, "Look, man, you're a bad landlord." And he says stuff like, "I can get to read. I read people pretty good. I can size people up pretty good." It's like, yeah, the way you've been, the guy says this to me after he let meth heads live here, after the meth cookhouse, after the crack dealers, after the hood people, which they were like yeah, the neighbors were getting irritated with them just from sitting out on the porch getting blasted and smoking blunts. and yeah, drinking. Um, but yeah, he actually is delusional. You know, it's like, so what's the point? And I have to be here, so why don't I want to, keep up this whole facade going that, everything is groovy and we're cool and we're friends, and so that I'm stuck. I'm stuck here until I get my knee rehabilitated, until I can get my head straight from the benzo thing. I am kind of stuck. It's like I don't have healthy people or financial resources to get the fuck out of here and to get out of this 15 by 10 prison. So that is my reality. I have to deal with it. I don't know if there's any continuity to this at all, but the main thing I called about was that I called. Okay, you might want to think about increasing the benzo level. I've been calling you now. Wow. Whew. But anyways, the main reason I'm on here is uh, the thing with the appointment surprise. The ironic fact that the day that I find out about the surprise appointment, my case manager is gone again. So, I have to go back and use the transportation service with the 45 minutes in the cold, that lovely service. And the ridiculous part about that is like a third of a mile away from here. But with literally a third of a mile away from here, that's how close my doctor's office is. That's one reason I've kept that doctor, is because I could make the appointments myself on my electric bike, but now I can't. So I have to actually have a bus. It'd be like, if for a healthy person, it would probably be a 15-20 minute walk, maybe. Be a pleasant walk. I used to walk that far all the time. Uh, Shoot, 15 years ago. Um, Anyways, so there was that, and there's this new drama that I'm getting involved in, and there's the boat nonsense, which I didn't mean to get into all the hostility I have over that, but I have a great deal of hostility over that. But yeah, I'm gonna say something controversial right now, man. Pot is not a harmless drug if you smoke it all the goddamn time. You know, what kind of memories are you making? If you're getting high and you're sitting there playing a video game, what kind of memories are you making for yourself? And that's how he spends a lot of his time. I understand, like, you get tired out from work and stuff or whatever, but yeah, you have a days off, you have like vacation days. We could have made some nice memories on that boat and had some fun. And the weird part about it was, the first time he went out on a boat, he practically shook my hand about how great of a time. He's like, "Man, thanks, that was awesome, man, and you had a great day." So, like I said, I'm giving up understanding people. I'm not giving up, apparently, rambling on the internet. It's probably because I don't want to get up and lift weights, because it's just kind of pathetic lifting those 20-pound dumbbells, considering what I used to be able to do. And, of course, my leg hurts now from doing the garbage, and it's gonna hurt worse after I do the dumbbells. And I was gonna post. I might as well do it now. I'm gonna post my March record, and also I wanted to talk about the scooter thing and trying to get some kind of independence where I can get the fuck out of here. Sometimes, every time I leave this place, it's only for like one reason, and that's to go to fun doctor's appointments. That's it. I don't ever get to leave this place. So if I have one of them scooter mobile things, I can actually just scooter around, go sit somewhere, just ride it around. Something to do. Get out in the air. You know, it'd be great for my sanity. I might not even be able to, I might just have to wait a month and blow all my money on that and be broke and scooterful. I don't know, man. Yeah. God, man, why can't things just ever go smooth? And why do I have to deal with other people's bullshit? But this person's kind of aware of that because they're like, she's like, no, you got all these problems. I don't like to dump them off of you. But at the same time, the hands out, you know. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about even saying as much as I do on here about that kind of stuff. Um, yeah, yeah. But we're talking substances, okay? Talking substances, and I don't know. I'm just trying. Yeah, I know people feel like they owe their family stuff. I was telling that person, I was like, look, man. I told my dad face to face, I don't owe you anything, you know, because he had this attitude about him this one day. I might as well tell you the whole story. My dad was an interesting fellow, but he's given me and my sister a ride somewhere, right? I'm in the back seat. My sister was in the front seat, just got dropped off somewhere. I don't even know what I said, but he was just under high stress. He slams on the brakes and turns around and starts yelling at me. And I'm like, first of all, this is a busy goddamn road. You didn't even pull over to the side of the road, man. You just slammed on the brakes. So I'm like bracing for impact, thinking somebody's going to rear end us. But there was cars behind us. Maybe he checked the rear view and I didn't see him do it. But he starts yelling at me, and I'm like, listen, I don't live with you anymore. It's like I don't have to put up with this shit. So I got up and I walked out of the car. Now that day, I had already done some shopping, so I walked back to my folks' house and I picked up some shopping bags, and then I walked all the way from there, probably, I would say 3 miles carrying bags home. It's a very memorable day. But because he was in a car, he had somewhere else to go, but he still caught. I tried to like leave before I ran into him again, but he caught me. He's like, I want to know what your problem is, mister. And he's like, and it's like, what difference does that make? He's like, what difference does it make? I said, it doesn't make any difference. He's like, and he started going on, and I was like, listen, I don't owe you anything. It's like, you know, that whole weird idea like that children owe their parents, like the children asked to be brought into the world, you know. So that's what I told this person. Like they're worried they got like parent issues. I'm like, did you ever, you know, you owe your parent less than I owe my dad. He's like, did you ever tell her that? Just tell her that, man. You'll feel better. He's like, no. It's like there's this weird mythos probably created by older people who have kids that somehow parents or somehow the children are automatically indebted to the parents to for being thrown into a veil of sorrows, which basically is what this world is, you know. And if you're like healthy and young, you're like, oh wow. But man, if you get sick, and it doesn't matter when you get old. I remember talking to this Danish kid that kid I talked about once on here before, that he taught me how to do written debate because he had Asperger's and they were very detail oriented. So he turned me into a monster at written debate. But I had, he was my debate partner along with some other people on this video site for like years and years. But anyways, I forgot entirely what I was just where I was going with that, because they even have a loud vacuum cleaner and it's got in my ear. But yeah, I'm trying to do like for some reason I want to take like one pill a day when I'm supposed to be taking 3 pills a day as far as the Valium. So I forgot where I was going with the Danish kid Asperger's thing. But he had the idea in his head that somehow he was magically gonna escape the aches and pains of old age. And I'm like, every person I've ever talked to that's reached a certain age has aches and pains. You're just automatically, that is your legacy as a human being if you do not die of a gunshot wound or a heart attack or get run over by a car at an early age. If you get old, you're going to hurt. That's just the way it is. He was like, well, that's not true for everybody. And it's like, I was thinking about my cop friend, man. My cop friend used to win the cop Olympics and stuff and put the other cops to shame in his like I'm seriously in his late 40s. He would be beating 20-year-olds in the cop Olympics. And, you know, he's starting to feel it now. He's 65. He's starting to feel it now. And he just retired, by the way. He talked to me he's like, this is my last day as a police officer. I'm like, what? Is this your last day? Because he's like, yep, 43 years. He did 43 years in some capacity as a law enforcement officer. 43 years. He did 30 years on the Canton Police Force. And then after that, he would be working like as security cop type stuff. But anyways, this is not one of my shorter videos. And I need to get off of here and go lift some weights and move around. I had meant to make a short video, but I didn't realize I had, that much stress and anger built up inside me. And right now, apparently my stomach is saying nasty things about what I ate an hour ago too. You know what Satchel Paige says? If your stomach doesn't agree with you, you should lay down and think cool, peaceful thoughts. But I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to get up and I'm going to lift some weights and drink a bunch of water. So that's what I'm going to do. And yeah. So things keep changing. Life is fluid. It changes. I just didn't like that unwanted April Fool's joke. It's because, yeah, the joke's on me once more. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, 18th, the 1st, whatever. It's 1 p.m. I mean, the transportation thing is what matters. But yeah. All right, well, I guess I shouldn't say that I'm not going to see you for a week or whatever, because things happen, things get under my skin, and this is my talk therapy. So this is therapy session number 1335. No, I think I got about 135 videos on here, I think. So, I don't know, something like that. But, why not? I see many people on here doing this sort of thing, usually with more clothes on than me. But yeah, I have no other thoughts to say. I think about anything concerning what has transpired in the mere 3 days since the last time I was on here, or however many days it was. I got to get my head straight, man. But yeah, check down, and if you're curious about my intake of Valium, I'm gonna put in the comments. Check down in the comments, and you'll see what I'm taking. Why I do this, I don't know. It's like people are like, "Why do you torture yourself?" And I'm like, the whole fucking Benzo thing is torture. Anyway, but I just get stubborn sometimes, and it's like I just want to take less. I don't know if it's impatience or it's just stubborn, or I just want to have control of something. I can't control when my case manager goes on vacation. I can't control when my appointments are even scheduled. I did not reschedule that for the 1st. I can't control the way knee procedure goes. I can't control the people upstairs. I can't control my landlord. I got no control over no goddamn anything, but I can control what I put in my mouth and what I swallow. So maybe that's why I'm doing the whole less volume thing. And believe it or not, this is haven't had much coffee this morning, so I was just in an agitated state. I'll be the first guy in history that's not looking forward to having a large sum of money placed in his hand, which is going to happen tomorrow. And I don't know how that's going to go, but I hope he doesn't say anything stupid. I just hope he does. I'm not going to say anything stupid. I sure as fuck ain't going to say thank you. I'll be like, here's your cut, and I'm going to be like, I'm going to go from the Gabby guy that you know on the internet to monosyllabic Matt. I'm going to turn into one laconic motherfucker, and I ain't going to say much because I do not want to stir up that hornet's nest of resentment and anger over these last 9 years that I have with this guy. But man, what a train wreck this was. But hey, hopefully it was an entertaining train wreck. And yeah, I ain't gonna even give a time for when I'm gonna see you. I'm just gonna say I'll be seeing you down the road. Goodbye.